What is up, you guys? Man, some days I wake up and I'm just like, what's the point? You know, what's the point? What's stopping me from just sitting down today, doing nothing, you know? All the times in my life that I've done that, I ended up feeling like a piece of crap, you know? So you have a decision every day you wake up, and that's either, I can either do something today that's gonna move the needle in my life, or I could just do nothing, you know? And it's a mental battle because your mind is trying to keep you comfortable. Like our minds are wired to where if we have to do something that is uncomfortable, we naturally don't like it, you know? So you end up doing nothing, and then you sit there still uncomfortable because you're constantly thinking about the fact that you could have done something but you didn't, you know? And this is why I always say, man, suffering is inevitable in life. Why not choose the road that has a higher ceiling? Why not choose the path of suffering that potentially has a greater reward, right? So we have that decision to make every day, man. And it's something that you got to remind yourself when you're in those moments of when you don't feel like doing anything. How many times in your life have you got that conviction that you needed to move, you needed to do something, and then you didn't, and then that's all you were thinking about, you know? That's all you were thinking about. All the times in my life, the reason why I felt like I wanted to just stop and quit was because I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. I became so attached to the result, whether that was gains in the gym or, you know, finances, or maybe you just shot your shot with that girl and you got left on red, and so now you're just saying screw everybody. You know, I don't know what it is, but you got to really ask yourself, like, what other option do you really have? There's really only two, and it's either you continue to put the work in or you don't, you know? And all the anxiety and the stress, and like, I was never depressed. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say there's a time in my life where I was depressed. Like, there were times in that where I cried about my situation, but I wouldn't consider that depression. Like, I feel like that's like a strong word, and I feel like people throw it around. I don't think I was ever depressed. There was definitely a spot in my life to where I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I didn't like the way I felt about myself because it was because I knew that I wasn't actively putting in work to get myself out of the situation that I was in. And that's why nowadays, man, I just, anytime I don't want to do something, I think about that. I don't ever want to go back to that spot, and I try as best as I can to detach my mind from the result, and I wake up and I just pray, and I'm like, God, just give me the strength to get through today, because as long as I have the strength to get through enough days, eventually I have to win. Eventually, like, you can only stay down for so long, right? Like, there's just, logically, it doesn't make sense in my brain that if I were to wake up and show up every single day for a year, 2, 3 years, there's no way that I can't not, like, there has to be something on the other side of this, you know? Because if not, like I said, the other option would be to wake up. You have this task in front of you, right? Your mind is trying to find a way out. Your mind is wired in a way that's like, man, I don't want to do this today, so let me go ahead and think of a bunch of reasons as to why I couldn't do it. Therefore, if I don't do it, I'll feel better about it. And that right there kept me stuck for so long, man. Having, like, when you have the mindset of finding a way out rather than finding a way through, you're gonna find a way out, bro. Trust me. Even if it's something as simple as like, man, I don't have the time today, or shoot, I gotta do the dishes, or I gotta fold my laundry still. The laundry's gonna be there when you get home, bro. The dishes are gonna be there. But this time that you have right now, you're not gonna get back. And so what are you doing today in your life that's moving the needle? Because let me ask you something, and I'm sure you've probably heard this before, but if I gave you $1 million today, but you died tomorrow, would you take it? And it's like, no. So time is more valuable than money. The money's a byproduct, but what you do with the time that you have today is what is most valuable. And when you're sitting there with the excuse oriented mind rather than a solution oriented mind, you're never going to make progress. Anytime I run into a problem with my life, I use this example multiple times because it was just like, it's a simple one, right? But when I got home from the gym one day, man, it was, we're getting up early now, so, this shouldn't be a problem anymore. Might be at some point, I don't know. But my wife and I, we were hitting the gym at like 8 or 9. We're getting home at like around 10:30, sometimes even later. And it's like, the grocery store's already closed by then, right? So some days I get home and I don't have milk. I don't have bananas. I forgot to leave out some steak, So, because it's got to defrost. And so my mind is, if I'm looking for a way out, there you go. I lost because grocery stores closed. Well, I don't have enough time for the steak for the freaking meat to thaw out, But if my mind is solution oriented, I'm thinking, okay, how can I find a way to get milk? How can I? Okay, we can let the meat thaw. We'll just put it in some warm water, or we could go to the gas station and get some freaking milk, bro. I'm gonna be real. If it means I gotta go drive to my in-laws' house or my mom's house 20-30 minutes to go get some freaking milk, I'm doing it because I don't want to miss my goal for that day. Because if I put in all this work in the gym, but I'm not doing the work on the back end, there's no freaking point of going to the gym. So it's like we get like 80-90% of the way through, and then we don't sprint through the finish line. We just, we did enough, we did enough. And when you have that mindset, that's how people truly stay stuck, bro. You're constantly looking for an excuse, a way out of having to put the work in, and you convince your mind that that excuse is valid. Therefore, whatever people try to tell you, they don't get it because they're not in your shoes, or and the reality is, bro, nobody has an excuse. And to sit there and say that, this person doesn't understand, that's another get out of jail free card, bro. There's been people that have gone through so much in life, bro, and still found a way through. Why? Because they had a mindset that was solution oriented, not excuse oriented. You can't sit here and constantly look for a reason to not do something. That's probably a reflection of how bad you really want it. Maybe you don't really want it that bad, and so you're gonna sit there and try to find as many ways out as possible, and all it takes is that one thought of like, man, that's actually valid. If I go to my friends or I go to my wife or my girlfriend and tell them, yeah, I wasn't able to do it yesterday or today because of this, that sounds valid, so bet I'm gonna stay on the couch tonight, I'm gonna finish this movie. And it's like, bro, if you want to live like that, I mean, Merry Christmas, bro, have fun. That's not how I got here. That's not how I got in shape. That's not how I started getting right with God. And that's not how I got onto my journey of self-development that I'm still on today. I'm not looking for ways out, bro. That kept me at the version of myself that I freaking hated, bro. I don't ever want to go back there. So the second I start looking for ways out, I'm like, here you go, bro. You want to go back to who you once were? And I'm like, no, I don't. So I look for a way out, a way through, not a way out. 99 times out of 100, bro, you can find a way through. Unless you're injured or maybe you're on house arrest and you just can't leave the house, like, bro, there's a way. There's a way, Once you can program your mind to look for a solution rather than a way out, you will start moving the needle in your life, bro. Before you know it, those days will compound. You will start to develop that mindset. The more you develop that mindset, the more you get used to doing it. And now you're not looking for ways out anymore. But you have to start somewhere and be real with yourself, bro. We lie to ourselves, and you have to be honest with yourself. You can't lie to yourself. Be real. If you're being lazy, then call it how it is. Why are you being lazy, bro? Why are you being a loser this week? You want to wake up and be a loser today? Like, bro, I want to cuss right now so bad. I'm just going to keep it 1,000 because I feel like I can't get my point across properly without doing it, but I won't because that was also the version of myself that I didn't like. I gave my life to Christ. Every time I cussed after that, I felt weird about it. I got convicted about it. So I don't cuss anymore. If I freaking bump my head on the truck trying to get out, yeah, I might let one out. But it's just, I get passionate about this stuff, bro, because I know that there's so many ways like people think, and I see it and I'm like, bro, that's why you're at where you're at. But it's like people need to have that honest conversation with themselves, you know, if somebody calls you fat, it may be mean, but you might be freaking fat. If somebody says you're skinny, it might be a little rude. Yeah, you're skin on bones, bro. The wind could blow you over, but the wind might be able to blow you over, bro, and we have to be able to accept those truths about our lives. If we're being lazy, if we're being, if we're making excuses, if somebody calls you out, you got to be able to accept it if it's true, If once you're able to be honest with yourself, it sets you free and it gives you the power to change it, bro. So, man, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just felt like getting that out, man. I don't even know how long I've been here. I got one minute left on here, but yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe that can help you out. But either way, I have these thoughts, bro, and whenever I start working out, I start like it gives me so much mental clarity, bro. That's why I love working out now, because it's about the physique, but it's also about like whenever I work out, it reveals stuff to me that I need to work on, and it reveals stuff to me that is like, okay, this is why I'm here, this is how I got here, and then I can apply those to other areas of my life. But the second that I tell myself I'm going to do something, whether that's working out or getting up in the morning, I forget exactly why I'm here, and I start like, I go into my day defeated, and if I can come in here and get a W, I gain momentum and I gain mental clarity, and just wanted to share that with you guys, man. That's all. So God bless. I hope you have a good rest of your day, or maybe you're about to go to bed. Get a good night's sleep, wake up, conquer the day tomorrow, and yeah, man, get in the gym. Get in the gym if you haven't already, man. Y'all are missing out on the benefits aside from the physical. So